we need to talk about Valve's recent manual bans that have been popping up. Before we do, Valve did drop another update today, the second of the week, which is 2 in 2 days. This came with some voice chat hitch improvements, which hopefully makes the game feel better for you. Now, before we go into the manual bans, we need to talk about the recent red trust factor sort of wave that started after the update on the 10th of June, which could be you watching with red trust factor even though you are a legit player. Now, I waited 24 hours since it started to see if Valve would sort of say anything like, hey, we accidentally tripped red trust factor to clean players, but nothing really happened like that, so unless they fix it in a future update, it may just be that your trust factor isn't as clean as you think. Going by what we know of the previous trust factor in CSGO, it's not just a green or red situation, as your trust factor can fluctuate and be a mix somewhere in the middle. Now, one cheater shared that nearly every account that injected got red trust factor. While of course some cheaters may say that nothing happened to them, it does seem like Valve was directly targeting cheaters with this recent change. But this also means that any bad action would also be affecting the trust factor of legit players too, even if you aren't cheating. Now, one person on Reddit made a pretty big hefty post talking about this, really complaining about the entire trust factor system, saying how he was green before the update and then after the update how he became low trust factor, and he's just not sure if it's a bug or not. Adding on that after he played today with the update that he's now pretty much infested with other cheaters that have the similar trust level. Now, this is where one of the CS legends himself, Ido, went and responded, who is well known for his long work on the franchise, or you may know of the Ido reference on one of the old Belkin's agents. Essentially, this Valve dev went and responded and asked this player to share his Steam account so Valve can hopefully look into this issue and correct it for this player. So it seems like this player, maybe like a few others, on the off chance could be wrongly put in the wrong trust factor, and it doesn't seem like they are just completely reversing the whole entire change altogether like some are claiming, and we may just see them go into specific cases of players. Now, of course, we got this update today, so you might be wondering if this changed the trust factor situation at all, and this is where a few of the Brazilian players who also let me know about it happening yesterday, they aren't actually getting the warning message anymore. So does this mean that trust factor has been completely removed? Well, actually no, because you can see on these accounts when they are looking to play, the account which had red trust factor, when comparing to another account with green trust factor, only has a portion of the available players on looking to play. So these accounts seem to not share the warning anymore, but seem to still have low trust factor, so it could be a way for Valve to make it so not everyone just knows about the situation like they did before, like what happened yesterday. Now, I'm sure this isn't the end of the changes that they have planned, and we could even see the message come back soon, as we have also been seeing manual bans from them. Before we continue, we need to talk about CSGO Luck. They're giving out 3 free cases to anyone who signs up using code WATER, or clicks the link down below to play different games and open up cases against other players to win skins. Make sure to collect your daily cases so you can rise the leaderboard, and don't forget to sign up with code WATER to get your 3 free cases now. Now, when we go into the manual bans, it's something Valve has been doing a little bit more recently, but we have known that it is an approach they have taken in the past. In our past videos, we have talked about these cheaters who were on the top of the leaderboard. And well, the way they got there so fast is because they actually know when Valve will be looking through and banning the top players, similar to how, let's say, an inmate out of prison knows when the guard will be doing checks, so they just time their way around it. Now, when we made our video about the top players in Premier cheating, it just seemed like they overran the leaderboard, but according to the cheaters, they have been manually banned, although you can't really directly see it. For example, here is the other side view of the cheaters which we have been talking about, where after this game, this cheater actually hits 30,000 elo and over 80 wins after the June 4th update. So this gameplay was just a few days ago before they got banned. You can also see all the other top cheaters in this game too, which were previously at the top of the leaderboard. But then here is them getting banned just a few games later, which was seemingly once Valve was cleaning it up. You can see they were directly back banned out of the game, and one of the accounts you can see the VAC ban, but of course others it still shows up nothing. But they have confirmed to me that they are banned. You may also remember how the Duolingo account we just talked about had over 80 wins, which is the account that also got banned, but now there is already another Duolingo account in the top list with just over 50 wins. So you can see how they have sort of found a way to go around the entire system and get themselves sitting at the top of the leaderboard even after they get manually banned. They have directly pinpointed how often Valve does these checks. So from these cheaters, Valve does actually clean up their leaderboard pretty often, but they have just found ways already to go around that. So I'm sure some will find a way to complain, but it is actually pretty nice either way that Valve or their trusted partners are manually banning some of these accounts so that they aren't just sitting at the top of the leaderboard continuously. Now, how do we know that they're actually manually banning these accounts? Well, you probably know how Counter-Strike cheats are so popular that there's literally streamers who will just do it live, and while a really popular one was just continually getting banned by Valve live on stream. It just kept happening even though they weren't using any detected features by VAC, which we know those features aren't detected because it's not like other cheaters were getting banned for the exact same thing. Now, of course, people will say that it's only a few bans out of the thousands of cheaters out there, which is true, but at the end of the day, these cheaters will just keep finding ways to cheat and get around any VAC system put in place, so as long as we are seeing improvements, I would say that is at least a good thing at the end of the day. A recent tweet from Aquarius showed that when he played 100 games of non-prime CS2, he ran into 169 cheaters, and none of those games had VAC Live cancel them. Now, this is pretty crazy to think about because these cheaters don't even care about playing in Premier or even the Prime version of Counter-Strike where there's a leaderboard or really any slight competitive mode, and will just cheat to cheat where they're pretty much just going against brand new players and being able to continuously make free accounts over and over again regardless of how many times they get banned. 9 of those cheaters did get banned, but of course this was non-prime, which means that it only takes them a few seconds to make another account, and it doesn't even cost them any money. Now, of course, we could doomsday about this, but this is where the entire idea behind trust factor, so hopefully less legit players, at least in prime matchmaking, don't run into these accounts. Plus, of course, we have talked about the email Valve shares, so they manually ban any boosters in other accounts, so I don't see why if they maybe see a blatant cheater, they would just let them go. Now, also the new dynamic shadow setting that Valve added, of course, for the most optimal performance, you will put your shadows to low and then all for dynamic, but it has also been pointed out that when you have your shadows on low, that it actually gives you a bit of a disadvantage as you can only see these dynamic shadows so far. As shown in this clip, as when you change your shadows from high to medium to low, the dynamic ones will only appear at a certain distance, which is something that you should probably note. Now, I've also seen a few people point out these VAC warnings thinking they're new, which aren't actually new, but both essentially say that VAC detects that you're running some sussy program and for you to restart. Legit players have been running into this for a few months actually, and it doesn't seem to be involved with the new banned softwares for Steam, which we mentioned in our previous video, as the new ban warning which we mentioned is for Steam, not Counter-Strike. 2 updates 2 days in a row. Although the updates themselves may seem small, there is many changes that are happening behind the scenes, which is nice to see from Valve, so make sure you are subscribed to stay updated on anything else that they have coming.